Bonnie with Flowers by the Bunch. Happy Tuesday to you. So if you're watching over on Facebook right this very second and you don't see that little live button right up there in the corner, it means you're watching the replay. Please put hashtag replay. Tell us where you're from. Tell us how you're doing today. We'd love to know that. So we are live on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. So when you come on, please talk to me. Ask me questions. I do have Victoria here with me, so she can read all of your comments. If you have any questions, please let us know. We'd love to answer questions. So today we are going to work on some cemetery work. So spring is almost here. And here at Flowers by the Bunch, we sell a lot of cemetery flowers. So we do a lot of faux flowers to go to the cemetery. And we carry here in the shop, we always have the vase inserts ready. But very seldom do I have enough stone toppers ready. So I thought that I would work on a stone topper with you guys. So that's what I'm going to work on. So this is a piece of styrofoam. We actually get them in these cut pieces from a company called Ludwig. They come pre-cut, almost like a foam bar, or a, just a hard styrofoam bar. Now, I always have to trim it up a little bit, and we just keep the extra pieces for just in case we need to make something with styrofoam. We always keep our extra pieces. So I'm going to take my my floral knife, and I'm just going to score that styrofoam. I know that does not sound good, but I just kind of made a little cut there. I usually set it on the edge of my counter, and then I just pop it. So I'm going to catch it and pop it. And I just scared Victoria to death. I said I was going to pop it, Victoria, and she just jumped out of her seat. So I have this extra piece that usually just goes in a box in the back room, and so we have these extra pieces for whatever we might need them for. I tell you what really works wonderful with this extra styrofoam, though, is if you sell the vase insert, often the foam itself is too large for the vases. If you will give them a small piece of the styrofoam to shave down that insert, works wonderful. So much easier than a floral knife. So just saying. Scared her to death. So the flowers that we're going to use include these beautiful pink hydrangeas. I purchased these from David Christopher's. They have such pretty silks. They're really, really pretty. I've got these beautiful creamy yellow roses, which I think are so pretty. I don't remember where we got these from. I don't remember where I got the roses or the blue iris from, and then some really pretty blue iris that I think are so lovely. And this all says spring so well. I am going to start out with a little bit of leather leaf. So this is just a bundle of leather leaf that I actually got this from David Christopher's also. And you can go to their website and type in Shop David Christopher's, and you can go to their website. They have wonderful prices. I'm going to take my wire snips, and I like to trim up the ends of my leather leaf. It's just a little long, so I just take it and trim it up. And it's going to take 2 bundles of this leather leaf. Now, David Christopher's has it in this dark color, and then they have it in a light color green. But either or really works well. I don't mind using either color.
You're getting lots of compliments on your haircut.
Thanks! I told you I was getting a haircut. I needed it so bad. Thank you. I went and saw my friend Melanie, and she did a great job. I'm so pleased. But thank you guys. All right, so I've trimmed up the edges of my leather leaf. Now I have my handy dandy glue pan. I had to look at it and say, what is this? My glue pan. I have heated up my glue. Now, it's important that you don't get your glue too hot. If it's too hot, it'll drip. And if it drips, it's going to drip on you and it'll blister, okay? So, if you would get your glue about the consistency of honey, and I actually could heat this up just a little more, but you want it to be about the consistency of honey, and it's not going to drip so easily. So, I ordered this glue pan off of Amazon. I'm just going to take each of my stems and I'm going to dip them in that glue, and I am going to go all the way around the edge of this floral foam.
Miss Margaret Lynch says hello.
Hey, Miss Margaret. Hello, hello.
Miss Valerie says it's 57 degrees in Pennsylvania. I was out planting bulbs in my garden. Flowers are starting to show. I can't wait for spring.
Oh, I cannot wait for spring either. I'm so excited for pretty spring flowers.
Kathy Nielsen says, good to catch you live today. I love the wreath behind you. I'm saving up for one.
Yay! And Miss Kathy, this is a little bit new. This is a different bead grass than what we've used before, because I haven't gotten my hands on the other bead grass yet. So this is a little bit different, and this is actually the round wreath, and it's a little less expensive than the oval one. The round one is $120, and our oval, which I've got to wait on my bead grass to come in to make the oval one, but the oval is $155, and so it's a little better price, and I really like it.
Dawn Miller wants to know what we're making today.
Miss Dawn, we are going to make a stone topper for the cemetery. We are in need, bless you, Victoria. We are in need of some cemetery flowers here at the shop. We try to get started on having flowers ready to freshen up the graves in the springtime. And so that's what we're working on today, is just a stone topper. So I'm taking each of the stems of leather leaf, I'm dipping it right into my glue pan, and then I'm pressing it all the way around that foam. So it looks kind of like that when you press it all the way around. Now I like to take and bend those stems down, but I will do that in just a minute. But you're going to bend them down so when it's sitting up on that stone, I don't want it to look like it's going to fly away, right? So you want to kind of bend all that greenery down. Next I'm going to take my greenery, and I am going to fill in the center of this foam. And I'm just dipping. Again, you dip every stem right down into that glue and glue it into place.
Miss Kathy says, I love both the round and the oval, so I'm saving up for both.
Awesome! That sounds wonderful.
You're getting more compliments on your hair.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Over on YouTube, Tangela says, yay, good evening. I love your passion.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, friend. Thank you for watching.
Janine says, hi, Monty and Victoria. Good evening from the UK.
Hello, friend. Hello, hello.
Miss Shelley says, live for the first time in weeks. Just freed my plants from winter weather. So ready for spring. How about you?
Oh, I'm so ready. I am so ready. I'm ready for some spring cleaning at my house too. I'm ready to kind of clean out, put away some of the winter stuff, and pull out some of my spring. It's almost time to pull out our Easter bunnies, isn't it?
Miss Shelley, I don't have any upcoming trips to Austin. My mom moved back here from Austin last year, I think back in April. So now that she's not there, we don't visit as much. I know she and my dad have gone back a couple times, but I would love to go back, but haven't been able to yet. It's fun over there. Romeo says, hi, I'm Romeo. I'm watching from South Africa. I love watching your videos. So inspiring. I'm
so glad you're here. Welcome, friend. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I have just taken this leather and I have covered this foam. And you can see I'm just taking those stems and kind of bending them down, because you don't want it to, you want it to be more mounded. It's almost more like a casket cover than it is a spray. Often with a spray, you leave everything kind of straight out, right? But with a stone topper, I want it kind of mounded. So I'm just taking that leather leaf and I'm bending it so it'll kind of do more of a mound shape. I don't want it, if I left the leather leaf flat, it's going to look like it's going to fly, right? And so if you mound it, it almost looks like, I don't know, it just kind of sits better on a stone. So I have mounded all of my greenery. Next I'm going to tie a ribbon and I'm going to put it in the center. Now you can choose any flowers, any faux flowers, and any type of ribbon. I'm going to use a spring ribbon that's kind of a pretty baby blue. Hey Todd. Hey Todd. Todd's tiptoeing around here. I'm going to lay these right down here on the floor for a second. This is one of the spring ribbons that we have on our website. Victoria, do you know the name of this? Pearls, something pearls, isn't it? It's a 2.5 inch baby blue, and it has like little circles that have a little bit of a iridescent glitter. It's just kind of pretty and springy. So I'm going to make a ribbon to tuck into the center. I'm going to take my ribbon. It is wired, so it will hold up in weather. I'm going to take that ribbon and I'm going to roll it. So I'm going to make a center loop. So I just took the ribbon and I just rolled it over. And I'm going to do a twist so that I have the pretty print showing. I'm going to make a loop and I'm going to catch it. I'm going to twist, a loop, catch, twist. And you'll make as many loops as you'd like. I'm probably going to do, I got a little tickle in my throat. I'm probably going to do, I think, 4 loops on each side.
Miss Jessie Lofton asks, how many leaves did you use?
I used 24 leaves. So those bundles come in 12 stems per bundle. And so I used 2 bundles. I just like it full. But you can use, I mean, if you wanted to use just 1 bundle, you can. But I prefer, I think 2 bundles looks nicer. So I did 4 loops on each side. Next, I am going to do 2 sets of tails. So I leave a long streamer, and I take it and I flip it over and I catch it. So this is I'm going to cut this to make my streamers. And then I'm going to make a second set of streamers. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm just repeating that. Take your scissors. Okay, so these 2 pieces are going to be my streamers. I'm going to take a piece of florist wire. I'm going to run it through that center loop, run it all the way through, catch it, and then bend it down. Pull it tight and then twist. Now, if you have a hard time making a bow, you can certainly use a bow maker. It works out just as well. I'm going to take and fluff that bow. Just pull those loops. Next, I'm going to cut my tail. So I'm going to take my scissors and just cut that in half.
Miss Obi says, hello, Monty and Victoria. About time I'm catching you beautiful ladies live. Oh, wow, Monty, you look beautiful with your new hairdo.
Oh, thank you, sweet friend. We have missed you. All right, so you can see how I have 4 tails, 2 sets of tails on each side. I am going to take that wire and I am going to put it on a wood pick. So I'm going to take my wood pick. I'm going to hold it and then just wrap that wire right around. It's hard for you to see. Wrap that wire right around that wood pick. Now, our wood picks, these are by a company called Coe. They're called Coe wood picks, and this is a 6-inch wood pick. You could take, it has a little wire that's attached, so I just wrap that wire right around the wire that I tied my bow with. So it really holds it in place. Next, what I'm going to do is it's going to be, my Coe wood pick's going to be a little long. So I'm going to take it and pop off just the bottom part because I don't need it quite that long. So I've got it about 4 inches. They do make shorter wood picks. We just always order ours in 6-inch, so we just break it off if we need to. I just dip that in glue, and I'm going to press it down into the center of my arrangement.
Miss Kelly over on TikTok wants to know the website to order the ribbon.
It is our Shopify website. What is it, Victoria? You said she's over on TikTok?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Flowers by the Bunch on Shopify?
Well, yes, that's our store name. Is still just Flowers by the Bunch. I don't have the link memorized, but
if you will go over to Facebook, it is pinned to the top of our page. It's Flowers by the Bunch over on Facebook.
It's actually pinned to the top of our TikTok as well. So
Yay.
If you leave the live, our first link under our bio is our Shopify.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm taking this ribbon, I'm folding it in half, and I am going to cut a dovetail. Is that necessary? Probably not, but it does finish off that ribbon pretty.
Gray says, God is good, God is great. I prayed about us getting a plaque or award for work, and we got it. God is so good.
Look at there. Fantastic, Gray. So happy for you.
Miss Debbie asks, do you put different greenery in these as well?
You can, but I am not going to, but you absolutely can. You can mix and match your greenery however you would like. I'm just using the leather leaf, but you can certainly put any type of greenery that would hold up in the weather. That would be fine.
Miss Ruby says, if there was Pick Your Florist Day, I'd pick you. I love watching you.
Thank you, sweet friend. Thank you, thank you. Okay, there's our pretty bow on top. Just a pretty little bow. Now, it looks like there's a bow on top of a gift, and that's not how it's going to look when I get my flowers in. I'm going to start out with these beautiful hydrangeas. They were really a good price over on David Christopher's, and they come in all of the colors. They come in pink and blue and white and all the colors. They even come in colors that hydrangeas don't come in. Very pretty, very pleased with the quality. I'm going to take my wire snips and I am going to cut all of my blooms off this one little bush.
Fawn and Flora asks, how much are your stone toppers?
They just really depend. They start about $75. It's really hard to make one that's full enough for less than that. I actually made one the other day for $50, but I just felt like it was a little skimpy. So if you come in and all you have is $50, I can certainly make it, but I don't feel like they're nearly as pretty as they could be. So I like to start them at $75.
Miss Gladys Barrier asks, how many flowers do you use?
It really just depends, Miss Gladys. It really depends. So this one we added up, and this is going to be a $95 piece. We added all of our flowers that I'm going to use, and the greenery and the foam and the ribbon and all the things. So this one I'm using 3 different bushes, but you can go and pick mixed bushes. You don't have to use 3. You can pick mixed bushes. You can really make it any way you want to, but this one will be a $95 piece. So I'm going to take that hydrangea, I trimmed it up, and I added some glue to it, and I'm tucking it in the center of my arrangement. And don't worry, you're still going to see my ribbon, but I didn't want my ribbon to be ribbon on top of a gift. I want it to kind of be incorporated into the flower arrangement. And each stem I am dipping in my glue. It's hard for you to see that, but I'm dipping each stem down into my glue, and that's what's holding my flowers into place.
Miss Shelley, I forgot you're from that area over in Texas. I will let you know if we ever head that way. We get to come meet you. But we're also happy if you are able to come meet us over here.
That's right. Come visit.
We're happy either way. But if I ever head that way, I'll let you know. That's so sweet.
I'm not sure I have ever been to Austin, Texas. We've been to Dallas, and we've been to Galveston, and we've been to several places, but I don't know if I've ever been to Austin. Okay, so it's kind of in a line. I'm holding that one up, but it's kind of in a line, the center, and then one on each end. Next, I'm going to take and tuck it on. in the front and in the back. I want it to be pretty all the way around because, of course, in the cemetery, did we get dark already? That is the craziest thing. In the cemetery, you go all the way around that stone, so I want pretty flowers all the way around.
Myra Pitts over on YouTube says, so glad you're doing cemetery work. Thanks for showing us.
Of course, yes ma'am. And if there's ever any suggestions that you have, like you'd like to see something, let us know. If we are making something similar, I will certainly do a video on that. And guys, do me a great big favor. If you are enjoying this video, please give us a thumbs up or a heart. That's just a free way to support our little flower shop. If you will interact with our video, ask us questions, talk to us.
Over on TikTok, Tammy Turpin says, hello from Alabama. I enjoy watching you.
I'm so glad you're here, friend. You're a neighbor over in Alabama. Thank you for watching.
I Need More Cowbell says hi.
Hello, my friend. Hello, hello. All these yellow roses are so pretty. So look at how, that's one of the stems that was on there. There's actually 5 individual stems, but it's got 2 flowers on each, 2 flowers on 3 of the stems, and then these are 2 really large blooms. So pretty. I don't remember where we got these. I'll have to ask Callie, but these are beautiful roses. And I love that greenery. Look at all that pretty greenery that's on them. So I'm just going to kind of fluff a little bit and kind of spread out that greenery because I'm going to make that, kind of incorporate that greenery right into the arrangement. Dipping that stem into the glue.
You're getting lots of compliments on your hair.
Oh, thanks guys. Thank you.
They also really like the bow that you made.
Isn't that a pretty ribbon? I think that's pretty and springy. I think Jason's giving us some mood music in there.
Miss Gloria says, good afternoon, ladies. So glad to catch you live. Sometimes the only thing that gets me through my work is listening to you. Accounting is not quite as bright or relaxing.
Oh, I'm so thankful you're here, my friend. I can imagine that accounting is not relaxing. Did she say accounting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would not be so relaxing to me. A little nerve-wracking. Numbers are kind of nerve-wracking.
Kathy Simpson says, hello, you guys from Candler, North Carolina. I'm still tired from Valentine's. We did over 150 arrangements on Saturday and got them all delivered. We were crazy. Or on Friday.
Friday. Magnificent. That's wonderful. I am so glad you had a wonderful holiday. Yes, girl, I am still resting up from that holiday. I am still tired, and Jason doesn't want to talk about it. Don't say the word Valentine's Day. It always makes him nervous.
Miss Lois asks, how much do you charge for this saddle?
So it just depends on how many flowers that goes into the arrangement. If you're asking about the arrangement itself, this one will be $95. But they range, we like to start them about $75. I can do less expensive, but I think $75 looks nice. And I'm not ashamed to sell you a $75 arrangement. So I did one the other day, and I charged them $50 for it, and I felt like it didn't look as full and pretty as I would have preferred. Now they were pleased with it, so that's wonderful. But I wasn't as pleased as I felt like. So I would prefer to sell them for $75.
Melinda asks, where do you get your faux flowers and greenery?
I get them from several different places. So I got my greenery and I got the beautiful hydrangeas from a company called David Christopher's. He has beautiful things. I cannot remember to save my life where I got the irises. I tell you where we got them. I'll have to go in there and look at the name of it because I've not ordered from them. Maravik, was that where we ordered the irises? Maybe Maravik, or the irises and the roses. I'll have to go look though. I also order from a company called Legs Manufacturing. They've changed their names, but you can still find them under Legs Manufacturing. And actually one of our wonderful followers told me about them. And they do have really nice cemetery grade. Not this nice. These are these to me are beautiful flowers that you could easily use even in your home versus just at the cemetery. But Lex Manufacturing is definitely very much cemetery grade. Very good quality. Usually bright colors and things like that. Very good prices, and I've ordered from them online. So just here and there. We also have a couple of companies that come around in a truck, and we have ordered from them or picked up flowers off of their truck. And they're usually pretty good. They would include Tremont Floral. You can order online for them. And then the others are just kind of little local silk flower trucks.
Dolores over on TikTok says good afternoon.
Hello, Miss Dolores. Hello, hello. Okay, so there's our roses and our hydrangeas. Really pretty. Next, we're going to come in with our irises. So these are a pretty blue iris.
Dustin over on TikTok says, I'm a floral shop owner in Oklahoma City. I love that color combo.
Thank you, friend. Thank you for being here.
Dolores also says he has beautiful merchandise. I think talking about David Christopher.
Yes, David Christopher's has lots of pretty things. Lots and lots of pretty things. Beautiful Christmas, beautiful things. High-end ribbon. But really, I have found like their cemetery type silks are great prices. Like, it's not overly priced.
Miss D over on YouTube says hello. She says, Monty, I love your new haircut. I got one today also.
Did you, Miss D? I bet you look beautiful, sweet friend. Thank you for being here.
Miss Janine says, I love the colors of the bow and the flowers are so springtime.
Oh, don't they make you think of spring? I love spring.
Tangela. Tangela says that was my birthday on Valentine's.
Oh, was it? Bless your heart. I think that Valentine's a fun birthday if you weren't a florist. I'm glad my birthday's not on Valentine's Day.
Tangela also asks, what type of glue are you using?
So this is just a hot glue. It's just it's a hot glue pan. Now you can use glue sticks in here. I use glue pellets. Or they almost look like little pillows that I order from the the floral supply company. I think we've ordered them from Direct Floral. We've also ordered them from Burton & Burton, but you can order them even on Amazon. They're fairly inexpensive, but you just take a handful and drop it down in and it just melts. You want the temperature of your hot glue pan to be the consistency to be about the consistency of honey. And it doesn't matter what the temperature shows you, you definitely want the consistency of honey. So if it's too runny, if it's runnier than that, you need to turn the heat down.
Deidre Moore says, hello from Waterford, Ireland. I love your flower arrangements. They're beautiful.
Thank you, friend. Thank you for being here. So glad you're here.
Miss Bernice Stroll, I sent an icon that it's so far from the truth. You are fabulous and spread lots of happiness.
I'm so glad you're here, and you can send us unhappy emojis if you want to. I can remember when I first started doing videos and I'd get unhappy emojis, I used to think, I don't know what we did wrong. I'd be so worried, and then I got to the point where I'm just glad they're interacting. They can be unhappy.
Miss Margaret Lynch asks, Monty, where on the grave would you put the saddle?
So this would go to a cemetery with the upright stones. We have several cemeteries here in our community. Some of them have the large upright tombstones and others have flat stones. This clips right on top of an upright tombstone. Look at those irises, y'all. They're so pretty.
Stephen Bernardi says, I love watching all the beautiful things you make. Thank you for showing us everything you do.
Oh, of course, Stephen. Thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you for watching.
Miss Karen says, I got an email saying Marivic is closing. They don't have much left.
Wow, I did not realize that. I probably got the email too.
Miss Carolyn Frazier says, "Hi guys, this is looking beautiful. I haven't been able to see you for a while as I'm in the hospital recovering from a knee replacement. Happy to be able to catch y'all today."
Oh, I hope you get to feeling better, sweet friend. I'm so sorry you're not feeling well.
Miss Connie says, "Hi girls from Minnesota. When using the saddle on stone, any issues with wind blowing them off, or do you fasten it good? What brand do you use?"
So I believe that I got these saddles from, I want to say maybe I got them from Ludwig. I don't usually have any issues with them blowing off at the cemetery that I take them to and I attach the stone toppers to. So we have several people who will call and ask us to deliver flowers out to the cemetery and place them on the graves for them. And so I have done that with stone toppers, and I've done it with the vase inserts. And I have one sweet little lady who we only do it at Christmas time. We take it to her mama and daddy's grave and to her grandparents' grave. And so I go back in December and her flowers are still there. I've never had any issues. I take a metal rack, and I'll show you that in just a second, and it pinches right down on the stone. The wonderful thing about the metal rack is it does have rubber stoppers on the bottom. I guess you would call them stoppers. Or bumpers, so that it doesn't scratch the stone. And I've not had any issues with them staying on the stone. Now, I do have a friend that I have watched a couple of her TikTok videos of her attaching them to a stone. And she uses like fishing line to anchor it down to the ground so that it doesn't come off. But I've never done that. I've never had to do that before.
Jacob over on TikTok says, "I worked for a florist in high school with a sweet older lady. It was the best time of my life."
Aww! Tell you, you can learn a lot from those sweet older ladies. I learned everything I know about the flower shop from Miss Ruth Stewart. And I've pretty much kind of mirrored all of the things from her little flower shop. I learned a lot, and she was wonderful, and she loved me, and she was good to me, and I loved her and all of her family. Okay, so there is, this is so pretty, y'all. I think this is so perfect for spring. So there is all of our flowers. Now, what you'll do is once you get it out there to the cemetery, you can always take and bend down these flowers. If they are looking up too much, all of them have wire in them. So you can absolutely take and kind of adjust them as you need to. But that is such pretty colors. I'm so pleased with that color scheme.
Miss Tammy over on TikTok says, "I have a little headstone for my son. Where can you find them that small?"
So you can find the stone toppers. I'll show you what we call a stone rack or a saddle. So this is a metal stone rack. Now they do come smaller. You can purchase this double. They even come bigger. I always purchase the double, but if your son's stone is smaller than this, I would say that's what, probably 12 inches, would you say? About 12 inches or so. If his stone is smaller than this, you can find them smaller, and all you would do, the only difference you would make is you would make your foam smaller. You don't have to make it this large. You can cut that foam even in a third of the foam, attach it to a saddle just like this, and it's not going to be quite as long. You would just adjust by making your foam smaller. You can put just as many flowers in a shorter piece of foam, but that's what I would say do. These pieces also come with just 2 legs instead of 4. I'm calling these little bent pieces legs, but you can get it where it's half of this piece. I don't know how well it'll stay on the stone though. I would almost say do the 4 legs, and it looks like that on the bottom. I don't know if y'all can see it. But all you're going to want to really do to make it work for his stone is just cut this foam shorter and then design on a shorter piece of foam. Now, how to attach this to this piece. Now the reason I do not design on this saddle is because then this piece is rocking back and forth, right? I like to attach this last. Now there are several ways you can attach this saddle. If you want to attach it before you do your design, you can use zip ties if you want to. You could still use zip ties even with your flowers in there. You could use zip ties. You could tape it into place if you wanted to. I am going to use U-picks. Now these are called Dixon pins. Now if it was still the wooden pins, these would be called Dixon pins. Dixon is the company that made these pins, and they're just U pins. Now I have purchased the plastic ones. We just have kept up with this box because the plastic ones come in a bag. They're just U pins and they're plastic. I'm going to grab out 4, and what I'm going to do, so I'm going to show you really quickly what they look like.
Miss Tammy says, okay, I found the small ones, but they're still too big.
They're still too big. Gosh, Miss Tammy, I almost may not put a stone topper on there. I might do an arrangement that was flat like this and lay it on the ground instead of putting it on top of his stone. If his stone is tiny, I would not cover it up with flowers. I would almost take this as a grave blanket, and of course it doesn't have to be this tall, it doesn't have to be this long. Use this as more of a grave blanket and lay his grave. And what I would do so it doesn't blow away because the wind does pick up, I would make stakes, almost like tent stakes, and I would take a piece of we have some stakes out in the yard that are old stands, and we've cut them apart and we've just bent it to kind of make a little U, and you push it down into the ground and kind of stake this down onto the ground, and that way it doesn't blow away. But if your stone is tiny, I would say do more of a grave blanket versus a stone topper. Now, this is a little U-shaped pin. It's just a plastic U-shaped pin. I don't know how well y'all can see that. And it is plastic. I'm going to take my, you can see my foam there, and I'm going to take my saddle or my stone rack, and I'm going to lay it kind of in the middle, and it has little spikes on the ends, and it just presses right down into that foam. So that's what it looks like. It's just pressed right down into that foam. Next, I'm going to take my pin. This is just that little U pin. I'm going to dip it into glue.
Miss Claudia asks, did your mom cut your hair? It's cute.
Mama didn't cut my hair. She hasn't been feeling great. It's hard for her to stand. So I had a sweet friend named Melanie who cut my hair. So I just took my wire snips and I just tapped it in. I did dip that in glue. Thank you so much. Thank you. I did send Mama a picture. I said, Mama, I got my hair cut. She was so tickled. I just dipped it in glue, and I just kind of straddle that little wire there. Press it down in. Now, it'll bruise your hand if you push it with your hand, so that's why I kind of tap it with my wire snips.
Molly over on YouTube says, hi, I'm watching from the UK. The metal frame you used for the funeral spray, does the customer get to keep it or is it returned to you?
The customer keeps it. So this will sit right on, it'll clamp right down onto that stone. So the customer keeps it. Now, we have had customers bring back arrangements and ask us to refurbish arrangements, which we are happy to do. Most of the time, so you can see I kind of went down the center of that foam with those picks, and I just glued them into place. Now, most of the time, the weather is not going to bother the rack itself, and it usually doesn't bother the styrofoam. So we have had people bring back these arrangements. We will remove any of the flowers that don't look good, any of the flowers that have been damaged in the weather. We will remove all that, and we will refurbish the arrangement, and we are happy to do that. But there is our finished arrangement. That's the stone topper. And so with this rack, you will bend these pieces down until they clamp really tight onto that stone.
I think Molly was talking about the stand.
Actually standing
like at the funeral.
Okay,
Yeah,
and so those we also leave. Often they will go to the cemetery and be left at the cemetery. Now we have recycled those. Sometimes the cemetery, one of our cemeteries, not the other, but one of them will give us a call and say, hey, we've got stands left here. If you want them, come and get them. And so we have recycled those, but often we don't get those back. Sorry about that. Thank you for clarifying.
No, but that's good too. That's good to know. Miss Judy Roeder says Michael at the Flower Patch of Festus uses shoe glue for hot glue in his pan. He says it's cheaper than other glues.
Shoe glue. Thanks. I will have to look into that. I never even heard of it before.
Sue Bryant asks, was the base completely covered with the leather leaf?
So the base, you can see the bottom of the piece is not, but the top of the piece was. So if you missed the very first part of the video, you can go all the way back. I took 2 bundles of leather leaf and I greened it all the way out, just as if I were going to green out a casket saddle for a funeral. I just added my greenery all the way around the base.
Tammy over on TikTok says, awesome, thank you so much.
Of course, Tammy, thank you for asking. Thank you for the questions.
Christy Walker says, I use an Oasis tape to secure my styrofoam.
Yep, it works just as well. Tape or zip ties, all of that works just as well. Now with me, I like to design on my spray bar before I add it to my saddle. And so the tape won't work for me because I can't go all the way around, right? You could use zip ties. If you have a large cable tie, you can run it through the flowers and then zip tie it in place. A zip tie would work wonderful. And the tape works really well, except I do my flowers first before I add my foam to my saddle.
Justin Lee asks, will you be doing another saddle?
I am actually going to do several saddles for the front here at the shop. And so I may do some quick videos. I probably won't do a full tutorial like I did today. But yes, I am going to make plenty of saddles.
Christy says another good idea is making a saddle and putting it on an easel for a funeral if they have a stone.
Yes, that is so smart. I hadn't even thought about leaving the saddle itself, the metal piece on there, but that's actually a wonderful idea.
Dottie Smith asks, what did Michael say he used the shoe glue for?
He used it in his glue pan. Instead of hot glue, he said the shoe glue was less expensive than a glue. I haven't found that it's terribly expensive. We buy it usually in bulk. So we buy, well, I said it wasn't expensive, but isn't everything expensive? But it's not terrible. But I will certainly look into that shoe glue. That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
Steve over on YouTube says hello from East Tennessee.
Hello, friend.
Tangela says phenomenal job as usual. Thanks for being very informative.
Of course. Thanks for the questions, guys. Thank you.
On TikTok, Christy asks, do you have a tip for fresh flower corsages besides Oasis glue? It is so expensive.
If you are making a corsage on a wristlet, I think Oasis glue to me is the best route to go. Now, I have always been I've always liked to wire and tape. I find I am so much faster wiring and taping, but you don't get the same look wiring and taping and then attaching it to a wristlet. Glue is just going to give you that look on a wristlet that the ribbon is in the center and then all your flowers are all the way around, where wiring and taping, I can't get that look wiring and taping. I think you will find that you don't use a whole lot of that glue and it'll last a very long time if you take good care of it. And you get lots of corsages out of one tube of glue. So I would say, friend, bite the bullet and invest in the glue. You won't ever be disappointed in it.
Tangela says the shoe glue holds very well.
I bet. It sounds like it would. I'll have to look that up. Thank you so much for telling us that.
Joanne says that's really beautiful. It doesn't even look like it's silk flowers. It's a beautiful design and color combination.
Thank you. I thought it was so pretty. Pretty.
Miss Margaret Lynch asks, sometime when you place the saddle, would you take a photo and send it to me, please?
Yes, ma'am. I sure will.
Miss Sheila Niven says, so sad in rural Monroe County, Mississippi, our floral arrangements are often stolen from the grave site. It's so sad, but I still try to put something on the grave several times during the year.
And Miss Sheila, that just makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that somebody would steal flowers. And I know that we've done flowers for you several times, and they won't stay a week before somebody steals them. And I just think there is a place for people like that.
Miss Joanne asks, did the customer choose the colors, or did you just use your discretion?
Miss Joanne, this was, I just made this piece to go up front. We don't have any saddles made up, and I find if you have them made, they will purchase them. And so that's what I was working on, having some arrangements made up front to sell.
Miss Brenda says, I attach my saddle first and then place it over the mailbox to make my arrangement.
So smart. Hadn't even thought about using a mailbox. I don't have a mailbox to design on, but that is very smart. I just usually just lay it flat. It's just easier for me here because I don't have the mailbox. But that's a great idea.
Miss Joanne says, they have those stacks on Amazon that you're talking about. I use them all the time. Maybe the pins, perhaps, or the rack that you're talking about.
Or the rack, yeah.
They're saying it's beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Lynette asks, how much would you charge for this? I've been thinking about doing this.
This one's $95. And they just range in price. And the reason I came up with $95 is by the flowers that I chose.
Verna Harris asks, is the Oasis glue used on both fresh and silk flowers for corsages?
No, ma'am. Only fresh flowers. I would use hot glue for silk flowers. If I were doing it in a wrist corsage, I would just use hot glue. It'll be fine. The problem with hot glue and fresh flowers is, number one, the heat will damage the fresh flowers. Number two, you put those fresh flowers in that cooler with that hot glue, and that glue is going to pop loose. Or it has for me. Now, I heard someone the other day when I made corsages on wristlets, someone said they used hot glue all the time and they never had any issues. We've always found that the corsages fall apart if I've ever tried to use hot glue. And the only time I used hot glue, I'd never used it on the flowers themselves. I've always used it on like the ribbon and the wristlet, the metal, and put the ribbon in place. And my bows all popped off. And so I said, oh no, I'm not going to work this hard for everything to pop off.
Miss Molly over on YouTube says she was referring to the stand for a standing spray.
Yes,
over there.
yes. And so we don't normally get those back. We wish we did, but we don't. Sometimes we do. Sometimes people recycle. Thanks for the hearts and the thumbs up over there on Facebook, guys. Thank you, thank you.
Miss D says it's such a beautiful spring floral cemetery spray that you've designed.
Thank you, Miss D. Thank you, thank you.
Miss Kathy says every time I go to get the flowers off my grandmother's gravestone, they are not there. Someone always has stolen it.
And it makes my heart hurt.
Miss Brenda says, I saw some beautiful hydrangeas for half price at David Christopher's.
Ooh, we need to check that out. And these are cemetery grade hydrangeas, but I am very pleased with them. I think they're very pretty.
Yeah, and I don't see...
Guys, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, please, please, please give us a heart or a thumbs up. Talk to us. Interact with us. Anytime you see any of our videos or our posts, it's just a free way to help support our little flower shop. Do me a great big favor. If you have not checked us out on all the platforms, we are on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. We also have an Instagram account. We would love for you to follow us on all of those platforms. I hope you have a wonderful evening. If you have any suggestions for videos you'd like to see us do, let us know. You could drop it in the comments, send it to us over on Messenger. We would love some ideas. Y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll be live first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock to do our devotion, and then we'll go live tomorrow afternoon.